fights. How do they survive? I still have Flicker. I flickered at the right time. Take away that Flicker, look for another fight later down the line, and you get a game similar to game number 2. Consistent skirmishes, consistent trades, as we've seen for the past 2 games.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are jumping into the draft game number 3, and this time it is going to be Flying Clouds. And Aurora is going to be the first pick, this time on blue side. Team Liquid is second on the red. But looking at the drafts here, at least in terms of the band, it hasn't changed just yet. For Team Liquid, they still don't want to see a Fanny or a Grok.
Don't think that that's ever going to change. But now they're also getting rid of the Hylos. Pretty similar bands overall. Now, I want to see if TL is going to commit to it, or whether do we see a slight adjustment here on the red side, right? And there we have it. The Leomord finally leaving Claude wide out in the open, and honestly Sora as well.
Well, looks like the Sora is going to be the first pick. Make sure that Team Liquid doesn't have it. But again, you gotta be careful because Sanford showed he can play a mean Valentina. I just hope TL doesn't flex it in mid. I know Sanji can use it. It's just that against range, because probably Aurora is going to pick up that Farsa, unless, of course, Team Liquid just takes it now. You know, Farsa Joe looks pretty good.
Looking back at the history of Aurora, they play the Sora more in the EXP lane. Only recently did Sigiboom start to play it.
Something that you have to keep in mind. Wow! Farsa Fredrin. I didn't think we'd see the Fredrin this early on. I really thought we were going to see a roam pick first.
I think these decisions by Team Liquid are coming from the fact that if they put Carl TZ on a Yisun Shin, the rest of them just go into this mode of, all right, let's go fight. We have full vision, let's go fight. This keeps them a little closer, a little tighter, turning them into a technical counter attack boxer, which is better, which is more applicable to Team Liquid now, since Aurora are not afraid to fight.
EV is open, by the way. I wonder if they want to pick it up here. Again, I think the last game make it so that Eve looks much better, but I think that one is, you got to put into context. But looks like they're not going to be picking it up. They're picking up the CC as well as the Kalia. I can kind of understand the CC because going up against Team Liquid, probably going to be a heavy front line kind of lineup. CC does okay, but yeah, this does mean that they're not going to be having the Eve, which makes you wonder what is going to be the pick for Rosa here.
It's a crazy flex in blue. First phase, mind you, you still don't know which is going into which lane, so the whole find the Sora still doesn't work as easy. So they'll roll the dice, pick the Claude, because clearly there's no room for the Freya anymore, and they take out TNZ's picks. There goes the Harley. Would not be surprised if Red 5 ban was a Guinevere.
Yeah, this is very reminiscent of when Aurora Takeo was taking on SRG. These 2 picks of Sora and CC was very frustrating to deal with, so inevitably they would either ban it or steal it away from them. Similarly to facing off against TL, I feel now they could have kind of pivoted. They could have like gotten the same comp just a little bit later down the line and kind of opened up options for that E, because now what do they do exactly against the Fredrin, right? You send the CC up forward, all of a sudden the Feather Airstrike is going to deploy. You might get blasted out of Oblivion. You might have to use a Vengeance early on. And I think that now that TL has gotten a good read, hey, let's get rid of the probers. No more Harley for you. I'm pretty sure Leomord has already been banned out as it is in the first phase, leaving us with what?
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to stop you guys there just a little bit because look at that. We have the Fandom War. So you guys in chat, make sure you guys let us know who is going to be winning this one, TL or Aurora. When it comes to the numbers, looks like TL is looking a much higher now, 689 against Aurora's 297. Which again is to be expected, but hey, we want to see more from the Aurora fans. Now TL, they do ban out the Yisun Shin, probably guessing they're A-okay going up against the Eve, considering they do have the Claude.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff because Aurora has a significant lack of damage in the later phases of the game. I'm feeling like Aurora might have to position themselves for a Lilia, just to maybe have a way to, a secondary way actually, to poke out the Fredrin in these neutral situations. Maybe even a Guinevere pick up, but then you really have to double down on not Guinevere utility, but Guinevere full damage.
Right now I'm just worried that in terms of the damage, right? If they go for the Guinevere, they kind of really have to hope whatever hero that Rosa picks up can really carry the early to mid, because you're going up against the Fredrin and the Farsa. I feel like your early game is going to be abysmal. Like, Aurora can go for something, say, a Boxia, right? Just to kind of like match tank for tank. But again, not enough damage in the early.
Yeah, no. If they're not going an assassin, they can go for utility and then put up a Lunox. Or is Zetian even worth trying?
I feel like
Zetian's
Lunox
not
is.
worse.
I feel like Lunox is pretty good.
Lunox might be better. A utility plus Lunox, that's fine.
But Rosa really has to play a perfect game, which, to be fair, has been pretty good in the knockout stages here. Team Liquid 10 seconds in. Looks like they're going to be locking in the Cho. So a lot of pick-off opportunities right now in TL. It looks like they're not disrupted at all in that draft. It seems like they're getting everything that they wanted.
Yeah, I think neutral objectives are going to be really fun to watch between both teams because there's a lot of ways to outplay the other. Now, the question being, what is going to bridge that early to mid? Are they still going to go back to the Eve? Are they going to have something to be able to kind of poke out the frontliners up beside the TL? Or are they just going to back away? Because I think doubling down on the poke just makes a lot of sense when you have a CC on your side. You're already running double fighters. They're going to be probing anyways. You might as well get some value.
I think they need the burst. The real-world manipulation from Eve, despite her kit being very good, doesn't provide what the rest of the lineup is asking for. So I'd go Lunox because it has a good matchup against the Farsa, good stats. So utility plus Lunox.
Zetian and Hayabusa?
Okay, Assassin and Hayabusa. Assassin and Zetian.
Yeah. I kind of feel like what Aurora is aiming for is win out the lanes, make sure Zetian can deal with the Farsa, both CC as well as Sora can deal everything by themselves, giving space for TNZ and maybe keep on ganking one lane. But when there's a Fredrin and then there's an Arlet and a Cho, you kind of don't want to go in a fight.
I think this is a draft mistake. They should not have gone for the CC that early on, and this is causing a lot of problems now that you're playing an assassin into not only the Way of the Dragon, but also Fredrin on top of that. You basically don't scale without a Sky Piercer. He's put themselves in a corner.
This is what a Stampede looks like. Liquid loves their crowd control. They love a reliable gold laner. The burst on Sanji. I think Liquid have found themselves again.
Casters, Aurora took a pretty big, I would say, risk here. So let's see how the games turn out with our casters.
It all comes down to how they executed the Lanadon. The risk pays off because, hey,
5 seconds
it's game number 3 in the Lanadon we go. This is the battle for match point between TLPH and Aurora Gaming Turkey.
Yep.
And if it's just risk that we're talking about, this isn't new to Aurora. They've been one of the few to introduce the more unorthodox meta, the Harleys, which are now being banned against them. So this might just be all according to plan for them, but I have to agree, the draft looks very favorable for Team Liquid.
And it's not just in this tournament, right? We saw the Harley, we saw those crazy picks, but the Amon, the Leomord, it was them who showed it off in the international stage in previous tournaments as well.
Yeah, I mean, Aurora's always been known for doing things like this, but they are also a team that's known for making it work time and time again. I like the draft a lot. I think the Hayabusa is a little off, but still, if there's a team that can do it, it's them.
Yeah. Looking at the emblems, everything looks pretty standard for majority of them. A lot of thrills, so I'm guessing Team Liquid really want to take things into or under control, but Aurora Gaming, despite everything we've mentioned, at least with the Zetian, we're seeing how they also are keeping the mid lane under control so far. So I guess that's stopping Team Liquid to a certain extent.
Yeah. That's something we have been seeing a lot from the Zetians, even for Selangor Red Giants. The way they control the mid lane is, with the Zetian, you have just so much range and instant clear with anyone with Concussive Blast. So even if the enemy team has Cho, it's still a win for you. JP and Sanji are kind of confined to their turret right now, and it's very difficult because on the Forza you want to be active. You want to use those wings by wings early to get like a little bit of poke on Lunar, maybe a win, or just relieving pressure off of your weak side. All those small victories have been taken away from or by the Zetian.
Ooh, that could have been something for Aurora. Fortunately, Team Liquid are really, really careful in scouting out where they could potentially come from. They're the ones holding the turtles first, though.
Uh-oh, a lot of damage on a JP.
Feather airstrike.
Airstrike goes down early for Sanji, but he was able to zone Rosa away, and that's the goal. And Team Liquid once again get the first neutral objective with the turtle.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, without...
Hey!
Oh, wait!
Comes the bully, JP comes in. Is he able to get it? Wait a second, a lot of damage on the JP. The shadow kill, Tienzi with first blood. He's just able to, he does lose the purple buff over to Carlteasy, but still, at least he finds some revenge. Now Sanford taking a little bit of damage as well, but the disengage happens.
Okay, that flicker was a bit off-timed. I think he could have escaped that a bit or could have split up the damage a bit more, but then he clicked it right as the Ogi Shadow Kill was cast, so he had to go down. Could have been better, especially as he used the flicker. Oh, Pagu too using the flicker, but going back, yeah. Team Liquid Philippines at that point, I feel like Aurora Gaming, it should have been more, wait, maybe we talk about that later.
The Dragon on TNZ, TNZ instantly taken out. A Tsunami Slam from Pagu, Carlteasy wants more, gonna come in, block on Pagu, Sanji showing up to the party as well. Pagu decimated, taken out, wiped off the map. A double kill into the hands of Carlteasy.
Wait, Lunar!
Sanford in trouble, Lunar trying to find something. Hopefully he can pick it up, yes, Lunar gets the solo kill. Up against 40.
Who's the Apex Predator now? Lunar winging out up top, but also uncharacteristic on both sides. Yeah, Sanford getting solo kill. Carlteasy recalling on Pagu. I don't see that often.
I can't help but recall what they mentioned in the interview. He just wished good luck to wait. Oheb?
Got a kill on Oheb, blazing duet. He will be safe. The fighter emblems just
okay.
too much.
Maybe I can continue what I was saying now.
Yeah.
But
never mind.
Never mind. Okay.
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 Yes.
Yes. Now I.
Never mind.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Wait. You're good. Go.
Oh,
Go.
Go quickly.
So okay. So Carlteasy did mention good luck to whoever they're facing against next, because they're really feeling it right now. So maybe that's one of the indicators that they are, because he doesn't usually spam the recall.
Especially after last game. Oh, Sanford!
Oh! Flash on a TNZ. TNZ's not going to get out of this one. Boom does show up. Gets some nice damage on a JP. Looking for one more shot. Pagu unable to connect with a Tsunami Slam. Rosa as well. JP gets away safely. Finally, Tsunami Slam does come on to Sanford.
Wow.
Takes some more chip damage from Rosa. He tries to dash back. Gets back to the turtle, and it's another neutral objective into the hands of Team Liquid.
Beautifully done by Sanford there. Getting solo killed up top, he instantly just rotates over, plays for the team, knows that, all right, in this matchup, I'm kind of cooked. Might as well just go and enable the team, the part of the team that's winning, and then rotate back up top. Lunar, he's a Sora. He's great in team fights, but in terms of sieging turrets down, not that good. You can already see that the punishment from Sora just staying in lane wasn't all that.
Yeah, and it's the small things. The way he always tries to help JP, that dauntless strike last minute, just JP could survive. And JP himself too, with that well-timed Shunpo, so he doesn't get caught in the title strike. So everything is just slowly falling into place for Team Liquid here. But you have to also note, Aurora Gaming, they're not letting things completely go their way. They're looking for the trades, and these are really good trades because they're getting turrets across the map.
Taking a look at the items here. Rush to the Oracle there for Lunar, wants to get more benefits from the healing of Kalea passive. You're constantly proccing in team fights. And it makes sense because he has concussive blast. This is the thing that we've been seeing a lot of teams go for as we develop into the later stage of the M7 World Championship. Earlier on in the wildcard, it was all Brave Smite Soras. Then we got to see Lutpi play the concussive blast, and I'm like, wait, how does this work? He lost on that, then I'm like, okay, maybe it's not the best. Then we saw more and more concussive blast just for Prio. And now it's the best emblem to go for. No one ever goes Brave Smite again, except, I mean, this is what we're talking about XP, because Temporal Rain is pretty good for gold.
Yeah. We saw that in Oheb's hands even yesterday, or even just earlier now when he used it and did a couple mistakes on the Sora, but that was already the Tsunami Slam.
Now that's more like the Apex Predator. JP!
Nice way the Dragon does connect onto Pagu. Feathered Airstrike as well. Shifting clouds keep Carlteasy under the tower. JP now trying to run away as Pagu. Rosa want to try to refight this out.
Oh no.
Masanji and Sanford and all the rest of the team have showed up, and the taunt happens, and JP gets the kill. Now Rosa and Pagu in a bad situation. Turtle up in 3 seconds. Team Liquid gonna reposition.
Lunar probably didn't want to reposition there.
Sanji!
Oh, they walk right into it. A stun and a final slash, and Sanford finds Pagu.
It's almost like Team Liquid were like, all right, game 1, game 2, Aurora were catching us with these crazy unorthodox team fights that we might just have to go for our comfort picks. Oh, JP again?
Okay.
Clouds on a JP, brings him under the tower, but Sanford showed up in the nick of time, but a shadow kill able to get it now. Sanford in a bad spot as well, brought down to about 20%.
Oof.
This is the final slash. And it's one hot on to Sanford. They can't get the kill, but the airstrike comes out. What time? Sanford finally goes down. Pagu with the Tsunami Slam onto Sanji.
Oheb!
Alteezy looking for a target. Blazing duet from Oheb. And then there's Calm.
Okay.
Finally.
I hope this is real. because they're a bit too far from each other to re-engage once again and cut us off. But yeah,
We finally analyzed.
finally, maybe not.
Never
Okay.
mind.
Well, you keep wasting time. You gotta jump in
Yeah,
again.
okay. But there you go. You see how these two players of Team Liquid really are working together almost all the time. It's JP and Sanford making things happen across the map, even without Carl TZ joining in. But when he decides to, that's where the narrative really shifts. This is a clear advantage in Team Liquid's hands so far, but Aurora Gaming, just the same, could see it as an opening. If they're able to
Yes.
constantly punish these two frontliners for Liquid that way, then they'll have much easier access to these members of Liquid who they're yet to shut down. That's Oheb, that's Sanji, and speaking of,
JP brought in the midst. There was no escape from that one.
Yeah. I don't know about the Shunpu there. Like, he tried to, I guess, body block for Oheb, and then he ended up just going like, oh no, it's me now. All right, whatever, you know? I guess we could say it's worth it because look at Sanford pushing up top, getting the prio again to maneuver into the jungle, but unfortunately they don't use it to do anything. So at the end of the day, it's just a free pick off there. But Team Liquid are still ahead by quite a bit, and the corrosion side will be done very soon by Oheb. That's going to be quick from him. Swift Trinity, Brute Force Breast Split already picked up now as well by Lunar.
yeah, that's a lot. That's a two-level gap between the two junglers and a 1k gold lead too. So far Carl TZ has been doing, or it's not actually Carl TZ, it's JP and the other members of Liquid doing a great job at choking out resources from TNZ. He's only gotten his second core item just now.
Hold on, Pagu able to pull Sanford back as TNZ goes into the back line. Oh! Shadow Kill does not connect, and Sanford able to flicker away. Lunar still in the midst of things with the shifting clouds, able to bring JP back to the team. Aurora, do they want to keep on forcing this? Lunar backs off.
All right.
It's a retreat.
Tianzi goes in with a Shadow Kill.
On to JP, looking for the final shot and gets the kill.
The RNG just isn't in favor of JP. He's flickered out of the Shadow Kill. I think like this is the third time it's happened, and it just doesn't work in the way that you expect, right?
Yeah.
You want to flicker right as the Shadow Kill comes in so that it kind of buffers, but it's just unfortunate. The thing is though, even with the flicker, TNC already had the Quad Shadow, and he went Shadow Kill Lunar.
Clouds on a Carl TZ and Oheb in the face of a feathered airstrike, and the damage is too much.
That should have been an opening. There was no retreat for Team Liquid.
Wait a second, Pagu. Sanji takes out Pagu. Oheb has gotten the kill, but Sticky Boom finds Sanji. Carl TZ now in control of the Lord Pit. It's nothing but Rosa and TNZ left.
I legit lost count of the number of vengeances that Sanford used in that previous fight. Oh my goodness, I thought the Fury of the Phoenix could have stood a chance, but yeah. And it was weird. Aurora Gaming, they had such the perfect opportunities. Carl TZ was forced to use his retribution in that previous clash. Team Liquid were already forced to back out. JP was nowhere to look for a setup, but Lunar probably in a desperate attempt to look for another setup to get more just so they could ensure that they have the upper hand and the advantage, tried to go for something.
That's why when teams go for this kind of play style, it's a risk that you're taking where you might overheat yourself, right? And that's exactly what's happening to Aurora Gaming. They find some good team fights, but the fact that Team Liquid throughout the game has gotten more, he's gotten more wins in the team fights, it's built up frustration for Aurora Gaming. So whenever they only get like a small victory, one guy picked off, they're like, I want more. They're giving for TL hope basically to Aurora Gaming, and it's a false sense of security where Aurora are just like, we constantly want more, and the punish keeps on happening. You can't just be making these mistakes against Team Liquid. Look at already, with just a small mistake from Lunar, how much of a goal lead they built. Final slash!
Sanji takes out Rosa. That's the final slash you're waiting to see right before a big push.
With the flicker, the off angle too, Rosa could not expect that. I mean, there was no way to react to it. He wasn't really visible, and then boom, JP!
In the backside with a kick, but it's the wrong way, and sees Tsunami Slam back to the base. Immortality does pop. Sanford's gonna try to help him out. A shifting clouds though, make sure Sanford kill. Feather Airstrike does come down. Lunar force it back up. Trying to lock onto Sanji.
Whoa.
Does get away on the top side though. Oheb with a BMI back.
Such great timing.
Nice stun.
Yeah. Okay, so they might not go for it first, but that was such great timing on the Purify. Oheb wasn't caught in the title strike, so his Blazing Duet wasn't cancelled out. At least Aurora Gaming were quick to react though, so they didn't feel majority of the damage just yet, but still that's already the Swift Trinity completed for Oheb. And mind you, that was the only time I think where he went in with the Blazing Duet. He wasn't alongside anyone else just yet, so what more if Team Liquid decide to commit with all these resources that they have?
Yeah, take a look at the items here again. With the Wind of Nature as well, Oheb is just so free. There's not really a lot of lockdown by the time he goes in. OHEB's playing this Claude really, really well, and he understands the job description of playing the Claude at this point, right? It's not to go blazing duet with the rest of the team initially. It's to wait for some of these resources to be burnt out. Lunar CC being burnt out, the Tsunami Slam from Pagu, and then, only then will OHEB walk up to clean up, and it's been working amazing right now. So Aurora, what is the route they need to take to avoid that from happening? Because again, it really seems like there's no answer right now.
Yeah, they do have answers in their lineup though, very direct answers at that. They do have the Fury of the Phoenix, they can use it to cancel out or at least stop Team Liquid in their tracks if they wanted to, or if they timed it really, really well. And Tianzi, well, it's also partly the JP not being as lucky today when it comes to dodging the Ogi Shadow kills, but right now Tianzi can also deal considerable amounts of damage if he wanted to, but okay. Speaking of, JP spots out where Aurora Gaming is going to come from.
Play, quick movements from Aurora Gaming. Lunar comes toward a shifting path, but the knockup happens! And Aurora Gaming is shoved in their face! Back away from the Lord, Lunar taken out, Team Liquid going to advance.
2 members down, a Lord taken by the Chef. Team Liquid are looking for the end in game number 3 for match point.
Yup, they lost Tianzi and Lunar, 2 of probably the most important heroes you could rely on for your defense.
AP with a big kick lands on Pagu. OHEB gonna get some more shots off Pagu, goes down next. It's Siggy Boom and Rosa up against the Stampede. A Lord coming down the mid side. OHEB locks on a Siggy Boom. Siggy Boom trying to do something, but he just can't do it. Carl Teasy and Sanji lock on the base, and that's game 2 for Team Liquid.
Match point secured for Team Liquid in the lower brackets.
That was such a stark contrast between the OHEB we saw in the previous game and the much disciplined Claude that we got to see from him here in this game. But that was definitely mainly made possible by the amount of pressure that the Joe and Arlott were able to put across the map. That was such a commendable gameplay that we saw from them. Coupled with the damage that Sanji provides once he finally gets a hold of this Farsa, you understand why it's such a key hero here in M7 now.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why Aurora Turkey early on were taking away that Farsa. It worked so well in the hands of Rosa, and I think a lot of this has been coming down to draft between the 2 teams. Turkey were able to win game 1 with a clean draft, team 2, and in game 2 things start to go downhill, and now we're just in full shambles.
I gotta agree with Gideon on this one, man. He mentioned in the panel earlier during the draft that the CC pick really dictated the draft, but for his own team, it really limited them in terms of what they can do in the later phase. And man, the fact that the flex was already taken away very early clearly shows this Team Liquid able to pick up components that just deny that hyperfixation combo of Aurora Gaming.
Yeah, and Carl Teasy with the uncharacteristic recalls too. I think that means something for Liquid here.
He's feeling it. Let's see if the panel's feeling the same vibe as Carl. Go Teasy, man.
Thank you very much, casters. And yeah, I kind of feel like unless you figure out how to deal with Philippine teams when they go for a utility jungler, it's going to be so difficult for you to go through them. Because yeah, honestly, speaking about the draft, there's a lot of adjustments that could have been made. Even taking out something like a Kalia Uranus, which does feel more Aurora at that point. Because I got to say, in this game, I believe only Lunar had a good time in his lane. Everyone else, not really. Because if TNZ and Rosa is not having a good time, by the way, just to put into perspective, Rosa finished the second item at almost 11 minutes. How do you say that you're having a bad game? Well, at around 10:40 something, you only completed your second item. You're not going to have impact in that game.
Aurora may have taken my thoughts on have Lunar win the lane a little too far. And really, it's just symptomatic of the loss here. Again, what was that, under 15 minutes? That you're facing off against a utility jungler-centric Liquid lineup. But really, it's deeper than that. It's the fact that Liquid are now comfortable in their own skin. It's the fact that Liquid have woken up and that the Stampede has started up. And now, Aurora has just one more chance to switch it up. I don't even know where to begin.
It's kindling to a fire. The draft was already looking a little abysmal here because here's my problem, right? You're drafting for strong lanes, but you're taking away synergy, right? And the synergy is the most important part in a meta that demands you to fight so well and demands a lot of perfection. And it became very simple. Let's not play for the lanes. Let's play for neutral objectives. And that's why we saw that Sanford, he was like, man, I don't like this lane anymore. I'm going to go on with the GOAT because he's going to set me up for so many more kills.
Which is why it was okay for Daddy JP to kind of get the short end of the stick. When the Cho dies, it basically took away one major resource, the shadow kill. And it's maybe even baited out the Fury of the Phoenix. And that's all Liquid needs to know for Sanji to be able to say, yeah, okay, I'm safe. The Hayabusa's not going to get to me. I am Tianzi free. And from there on, they just go straight for the objective. They go on the farm up for Oheb. And then Aurora's left wondering, why do we not have a combo for the Kalia? What was the Kalia going to do anyways?
Well, we're going to be looking at the MVP by our official gaming phone, Realme. And there is quite a few things that I do want to talk about later on. And I'm guessing the MVP is going to be Sanford. First time we're seeing that, but either way, he deserves it. 5, 2, and a 5. At this point, just give Sanford anything. Fighter, tank, mage, he can do it all. But speaking of, if there was a time where we have a pause, we can open up a small podcast here where I do want to say, as open as the meta is right now, there is one clear weakness in the current meta, which is the lack of fighters in the jungle, right? We have assassins, we have tanks, but the Alpha's not there, the Martis is not there, like...
Leomord is a weird
He's
anomaly.
the only one, yeah, exactly. So I really feel like that also might be a hole where teams just have to consider, where they're not going to have access to a good fighter in the jungle. You can come up with something crazy, loony like the Lucas, but again, that's just something you got to consider when you're going up against a team that you know they can use a tank in the jungle.
To be fair, I don't think a better tank or a different tank would have done well against Liquid anyways. Because again, as a fighter, what you're relying on is spell vamp, right? Or lifesteal if you want to swing back. With a lineup like this, especially with Sanford's Arlott out on the loose like this, good luck trying to get close. He's going to final slash you away, and then you're like wondering, why can't I get anything good?
Yeah, no, I completely agree, because even if we swap Tenzi out of this Hayabusa, you give him Baxia, it still doesn't really change the problem, right? The problem is there's a lack of synergy between the different types of heroes. And we already knew that damage was going to be an issue. They had to play for poke, but they couldn't double down on a poke style of composition compared to a composition that just needed to snowball. And that snowball never comes if you don't get neutrals.
I feel like the best way that we can say this is that we know Aurora Turkey to be an extremely aggressive early game team. This is not just the draft for that, right? Like, Zetian can win lane, but I feel like against Farsight it's very difficult. You're good in the team fight, but in the laning phase, not exactly the very best.
Gentlemen, do we agree that maybe the Lunox would have been better?
I agree that the Lunox definitely would have been better, but I also think that if we were to keep the mid laner, I think Pagu needs to get right off of this Kalia, and it's not his fault. It's not like he played badly. It's mainly because it disrupts the overall what you want to do with the composition. How do I find this big burst when Tianzi can't even afford to go for a Sky Piercer the entirety of the game when they found incredible angles to get on top of Oheb pre-level 4?
It sounds like there's trouble in paradise. Aurora, the reason why they took SRG to the limit was because of how strong and how confident their mid trio was. Now, they seem to be crumbling in front of the final boss. Liquid has awoken. This is an old draft. Like, these picks are months old. They've been ruining people with these same heroes, but what does Aurora have to do? Like, they have to go back to their notes 6 months back?
Gentlemen, I kind of have to bring us all the way back to game number 2, where the draft, took a turn, and I am worried that it got into their heads a little bit too much, because after that game, it does seem like they're overthinking it just a little bit, and Team Liquid are punishing by banning out the Leomord. Once the Leomord is done, it kind of looks like they're scrambling for their notes. It's like, wait, what's plan B again? What's plan B? And I feel like Team Liquid is introducing that panic, going inside the jungle early, disrupting TNZ. So I feel like of all the game-related things that they're doing at the same time, they got to do the outside game stuff. They got to reset.
They have to reset. They have to really think about what they want to do in the game. It cannot just be as simple and a blanket statement of, we win early, we win the lanes, we're going to win the game, guys. There's so much more to it. And I think that TL is one step ahead, because we saw the second half of that draft. At any point of time, they were thinking about maybe Alice could ruin our day. Maybe they could try and sandbag Sanford when we're already setting up for the Arlott, which could still disrupt Sanji at the end of the day. There is tight really, really tight correlations between EXP and mid laners. Whatever the EXP gets heavily affects the opposing's mid laner.
This kind of just shows how Aurora have clear direction. It's just, maybe it's hard for them to redirect. It's hard for them to step on the clutch, especially when their opponents do this. I don't know if it was in the notes of Coach Badgal Sef and Apex 47 for Carl Teasy to revert to this, or for them to even go back to Oheb weak lane Claude